Hey, so I'm giving you like a little quick behind the scenes. This is how my setup is for when I'm doing my my webinars and such. So I have my webcam. Hey, I have my computer. Oh, I got my laptop. So the music is playing from this one, so I can like make sure that it goes to this computer. This is the computer that the actual program is on. You know, this is the computer that is actually streaming. Okay. So this is the behind the scenes setup. So when you guys see people doing, I have my ring light, and you guys see people doing their programs and such, this is how it is. So, and then I have my background, right? So this is my background. I put my books so that when the class is facing me, they're facing me like you're facing me now, and then my books and stuff are right there, right? So we're gonna start in just a few minutes. But I wanted to give you guys a background so you kind of see how it works. Hey, so it's streaming right now to Zoom at the same time, right? I mean, from Zoom over to Facebook at the same time. Here are my participants. So I keep this like on one side so all of them come in. And I think I actually might, oh, I might put that down because I don't really need to see that. So this is what they see on their screen. So this is what they see. This is how I keep track, right? So I'm going to actually move from this side, and then they only see this. So there you go. This is the behind the scenes look, so you guys can see how the setup looks for an online course. All right, bye. All right, I see you all coming on in. So we're going to be getting started in about a few minutes. All right, we can talk about that, Judith. All right, we're going to be getting started in about 5 minutes. So hey, everybody. So we're going to be getting started in just a few minutes. Go ahead and type into the chat box what your aha was from yesterday. And we're going to get started in just a few minutes. We're going to let them come on in. Welcome everybody that's coming in. We're going to get started in just about 3 minutes. So tag your friends if they're missing. Hey. Hey, everybody. So we're going to be getting started in just a couple of minutes or so. I want you all to type into the chat box your ahas from yesterday. Your ahas from yesterday. Also, if you have like any wins or something that happened yesterday, let's share those out. We always want to have good news, right? We always want to have good news. So, hey, everybody is coming on in. Come on in, 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 come on in. We're going to get started in just about 2 minutes. Yes, no problem. Just about 2 minutes. We're going to get started. So you're in the right place. Go ahead and put your ahas and such. One more minute. All right, 405, yay. Okay, everybody. All right, right. Welcome. Welcome back. Today is day 3, right? Day 3. So you all have been working it out. You all have been committed. You have been doing the homework. You have been showing up here. A lot of people are also coming to the replays, which is great, right? So if you can't make it live, that's never an excuse to not get that day's work done. This is called a challenge for a reason. When it's a challenge, that means it may be a challenge. So you may have to do some different things, some moving of some pieces in your life in order to get this particular challenge done, right? So today is day 3, and today is all about ensuring you have an audience. It is about the people that are actually going to read your book. So let's do some logistical things first. I have a couple of people who emailed about the replays. So again, the replays are always going to be in the Facebook group. So you're going to have the replay in the Facebook group, and you'll also receive an email. And in that email, you will have the replay and the link to the homework assignment for that day. All right. So the replay and the link to the homework assignment for that day. Our hashtag for posting up on your personal page is none other than hashtag Power Author Challenge. Power Author Challenge. So I encourage you to share your reflections. I encourage you to share your ahas with your general community, the people that you are connected to on your social media. Do that, and then hashtag it Power Author Academy so we can follow along with you as well. As you all know, today is day 3. Tomorrow will be day 4, and then we have day 5. So we have 5 consecutive days. On the 6th day, we're going to take a pause so you can catch up on anything that you may have missed or something you want to go over again. We're going to pause on the 6th day, which will be Thursday. And then on Friday, we come back in the evening for our last final day. That's going to be our culinary party celebration, and I'm going to be giving away some prizes as well on this Friday. So that's a little bit of the logistical side of what's going to be happening in the challenge. Again, for the homework, I think it may email you, but I don't want you to like rely on us to get those emails from Google with your responses to the homework. So what I want you to do is just have your own document, right? You have your own document, and then you copy and paste that into the form so that you know you have a copy of it and you're not relying on us to give you a copy of your answers, right? These are things that you're going to want to keep, because at the end of this, like every little step that you're doing, every homework assignment is building upon the next, and it's also building out like your architectural plan for your book. So some of them you may know exactly what you're doing. You know, I know exactly the title I'm going to pick. Some of you may not, right? So there still may be some massaging that comes later on of the materials that you do during the homework. But you want to keep that stuff. You want to keep it. All right. So let's see any other things. Let's read out some of the ahas. All right, so Dr. Anita, that my dissertation can be turned into a book in a weekend. Yes, 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 yes. It definitely can. And great. Judith, just thought of another one I had was that I need to ask my dad if he'd written a thesis or dissertation. He might want to put it in the book. Good point. You may have somebody else that you know needs to have their message in the book. You know, share the things that you're learning, inspire them. They may be inspired by you, right? Sister Lenise, my aha was to determine that although so many of us are accomplished in our own right, that most of the ladies are in the same place that I am. That is being doubtful about being able to complete their books. It's not, you know, a weird place for you to have those types of feelings. Every single person goes through some type of doubts when they're creating a project. Like, you know, I was just talking on my live the other day, or just today, about the fact that human beings are creators, and the fact that like that innateness, that innate drive to create is just a part of us being human. Like we are natural creators. We have to get it out. And so the things that you want to do, when you suppress them, that's when that leads to more anxiety. It leads to all types of things. So the suppression of creativity is a really big social ailment. It's a really big problem. So yes. Now how is it? 22. Okay. I'm just pulling up your homework for today so I can read out some of those, some of your homework assignments. Okay, here's the right one. All right, so yesterday you all had homework, and the type of book that many of you are planning to write. So 40% of you all plan to write a memoir. 40% of you plan to write a memoir. And then the other 60%, it ranges from textbook, tip book, user manual, surprised about that one, spoken words, somebody's just not sure, right? Creative nonfiction. So there you go, not sure what to call it, it'll be a mixture. So you have 40% of you who are writing memoirs, and the other people are doing a mixture of the others. So everybody did brainstorm the topic. So kudos to you. Everyone did brainstorm your topic, which was great. That means you're doing the work, right? Okay, now with the doubt, what problem do you face when deciding on your final topic? Some people said, fell into self-doubt about how I will accomplish the book. It's a big project. Also the concern, will people receive the message of our ancestors if I write the message of my storytelling? How am I going to deal with bringing up more thoughts and memories from the past that will come back with writing about the topics? Trying to decide the structure of how to write about each of them. With a few of them, they deal with the same subject, but of course, being different situations, should I put them separate or discuss them in the same chapter, or discuss each of them and how it affected me? You know, questions. How to best present it to make it marketable. If it really is the proper fit for what I want to say, will it be exciting enough to attract the people that I'm trying to reach? I don't have a final topic yet, but in general, it's about love, my relationship with my husband. My topic is on elevating the legal savviness in the rest of us and those who have not been raised with access to attorneys. Major problem is managing being broad yet specific. How general should I be? Or should I focus on a few areas and expound upon them? I'm thinking, why would a woman want to be more legally savvy? Importance about being legally savvy before marriage, before opening a business. All right, why minorities should be more legally savvy. If my topic is relatable to my audience or not. Developing an interview protocol that is narrow rather than wide. It will be challenging. All right, cool. So some of you all have decided on your final topic, the addiction to suffering, the dealing with traumatic situations and how to heal from them, divine order, love, legally savvy, real talk about marriage preparation, experiences growing up in poverty with a single parent and how I overcame my circumstances, me and the world, how advanced terminal medical diagnoses positively transformed patients' lives. All right, cool. All right, so about half of you all say you kind of need some help with deciding your final topic. Half of you all say that. You know, we always have within Book Power, even within our programs, when we're in the group programs, we always have like individual coaching options. So if you ever feel like you need some individual assistance, you know, on your book, we always offer like at least one of them at a very discounted rate of $99. So you can always, if you're like, okay, I want an hour of your time, like specifically on me. We offer this once to our clients. I want an hour of your time specifically on me. You can always book those sessions. They're super duper discounted, so that's why we only offer them once, because it would be crazy if we tried to do more than that. All right, so that's great. That's all the homework from yesterday. So good job. Kudos to all of you all who did your homework, Yay. Okay, so today is all about your audience. Okay? And when we're thinking about your audience, right, these are the people who are actually going to read your book. These are the people that are going to pick up the book, read it, and then get whatever it is that you were putting down in the book. Now, what I find is that many people, when they think about writing their book, they often start off and they say that their book is for everybody. Like, my book is for everybody. Who couldn't benefit from this, right? So like Zarina with legally savvy, she can say, my book is for everybody. Like, who doesn't need legal representation, right? And so you start thinking like from that really big picture. And I'm going to say that it's very tempting to go that route because many of us are givers. We know we want to share. We want to spread our message as wide as we can. We have these really altruistic type of feelings as far as helping people. However, that's not what you want to do when you approach your audience for your book. So we don't try to go as broad as possible. That is the wrong way of going about it, okay? That is the wrong way of going about it. The correct way is to narrow it down into a specific target audience. We're going to narrow it down into a specific niche. We're going to narrow it down into a specific group of people that you are called to work with, okay? So today we're going to talk about the concept of culture. We're going to talk about the concept of subculture and how that relates to you and your specific audience. Because if we don't have a clear idea of who your audience is, when it is time for you to write your book, you will be really stuck as to what language do I use? What examples should I include? You know, should I put this or should I put that? You know, having a defined target audience, having a defined specific group that your book is written for is going to help you answer all of those questions. And it becomes like a litmus test so that you can know which way to go. It helps you decide, should I go here or should I go there? When you try to keep it more open and like la, right? It seems like that makes it easier, but in reality, it actually makes it more difficult. Okay? So I want you to kind of just get in your head now that we're going to narrow down. If this is the whole world, we're going to narrow down and understand that even if I had just a sliver of the whole world, that's a lot of people, right? So even if you have just a sliver of the whole world, just a tiny percentage, that's a lot of people, okay? So everybody agree with me on that? Yes. All right, so we can let go of this idea of trying to reach everybody, and we can let go of this idea that the whole world is your audience. So free yourself from that, okay? Now, in talking about culture, so there's a saying, you know, an idea I would say, you know, he who controls knowledge controls the culture. He who controls the culture controls the world, right? So what is culture? Culture are the ways of being. It is the ideas, the beliefs, the customs, the doings of a group of people, right? Now, UNESCO says that, you know, the United Nations educational group, right? UNESCO says that education is the catalyst for change in our society. And if you think about that, like education being the catalyst for change in our society, knowledge being the catalyst for change, knowledge controls the culture. And if you think about the number one tool that is used to transmit knowledge, what is it? It's in every school, right? Every school that you've ever been in has had this one tool that they used in order to transmit knowledge. It was a book, right? Every single school that you've been to has some type of book, whether it was from preschool all the way up and through graduate degrees, right? So we see that the power of a book is wrapped up into what a book does and into the cultural meanings that are assigned to books. So that's something that we're going to tap into, whether you like it or not. You know, when you put a book together, when you become an author, it literally is something that our society, we don't even have to tap into it. Our society already says that an author is someone of authority. So writing a book on that subject makes you someone of an authority in that field, right? And by positioning our books great, and by doing our books in the way that we know we want them to be, quality books, we are then thereby contributing to the shifts in our society that we want to see, and then thereby contributing to the shifts in the greater society, you know, the greater world that we want to see, right? But people think that it goes and you have to go after the world first, when it's the opposite. You go after your little people and then the ripples happen, right? Your little people. And there's no judgment, there's no failure around going after a subculture of people, right? There's no failure in that at all. You know, there's no failure in that at all. All right, so let's keep going. So he who controls knowledge controls the culture, right? He who controls the culture controls the world. All right, so what we want to do, right, is that we want to have our messages be used for good. We want to be able to contribute to the positive evolution of our society, our family, and our people, right? And whatever your people, whatever that is designed as, or whatever that is described as for you, because we're talking about subculture, right? We're talking about the subculture. So when we're speaking about subculture, you know, if we look at the cultural will, if you will, right? So let me actually, I'm going to put this away. I just want to kind of see what you all think. We're going to use the chat box for a moment, okay? So I want you all to use the chat box, and I want you to think about, when you think of culture, what do you think about? What are some of the things that you that come to mind for you when you think about culture? And I'm not going to put anything in your head now. I've already kind of said some things, but for you, just type it into the chat box. What are some things that you think about when you consider the term culture? All right, food, music, clothes, language, art. Yep, liberal arts, language, shared experiences. Shared experiences. Location, ancestors, common values, things that you're used to doing habitually, traditions. Dr. Anissa, I think you can change your settings for your chat and it'll go to everybody and not just to us privately. It might be a little setting there. So traditions, spiritual beliefs, language, food, fashion. You know, that's one of my favorites. Fashion. Yes. All of the above, right? All of the above. So culture is like the way of being human. It's the way of being human. And culture, you know, generally is kind of passed down from one generation to the next generation without us actually even thinking about it. It kind of happens by osmosis. It happens by proximity. So some of the things that you and I believe, we may not have ever actually even really considered why we believe those things. You know, it's just, oh, that's just the way it is, right? And so sometimes it's not until you get a new belief system given to you or see or put in front of you that you start to then question or think deeply about, like your own, right? Your own. So books have the ability to address the subculture and present new ideas and new ways of thinking and being. So here's like a little cultural wheel, right? All of the things that we just mentioned, values, the greater community, all of these different things, traditions, all of this stuff, right? Things people use, way people educate folks, all of that contribute to the culture, the big culture, the big culture. But we're not even actually going for the big culture. What did I say we were going for? We were going for the subculture. We were going for the subculture. So what I mean by that is that if I take my culture, for example, if I say, okay, well, I'm an African American woman. Okay, so like I say, first of all, I can say I am an American. So that's one, the culture, right? I'm an American. Then I can say I'm an African American. So now I'm a Black American, right? Then I can be like, oh, well, I'm a Black American woman. Okay, so I'm a Black American woman. And then now I'm a Black Muslim American woman, right? And then I'm a Black American Muslim woman who is from the inner city. And I'm a Black American Muslim woman who's from the inner city and is educated. And I'm a Black American Muslim woman who's from the inner city, who's educated, who has traveled, right? And I'm a Black American. It's like that game, you know, just keep adding on and adding on and adding on and adding on. So you want to think about like your subculture of the people that you want to reach for your specific group. And sometimes it can feel very painful. It can feel like, oh my God, I really don't want to narrow this down that far. However, narrowing it down allows you again to connect to the language, right? It connects to the language. You know what to put into your book. And it's not to say that just because I have a specific target audience for the book, that no one else will ever pick it up, right? It's a ripple effect. It's dropping a pebble into a pond and it comes outwards. So I'm going over this a lot because people all the time get hung up on this. And the more you can be in sync with who your target audience is for this, the better it's going to be for you, right? The better it's going to be for you. So we're going to spend a couple of minutes right now, and I want you all to think about your subculture, the subculture of people that you want to reach, right? The subculture of people that you want to reach. These are the people that you feel called to help, the people you want to love on, right? The people that you want to love on. All right, so we're going to take about 3 minutes or so. Get your paper and then just jot down like your subculture of people that you're going to reach. We'll do 1 more minute. When you guys done, just type in done into the box. No problem, Dr. Anissa. All right. Good. Oh, okay. All right. Good. Okay. So awesome. So let's hear out. Let's have a couple of people share. I know that Zarina has to leave. I don't know if you have time. Do you have time to share yours before you leave?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
This is tough, but I'm so glad that you're teaching us this. Okay, so a few different areas: the middle class, African Americans, minorities, women between the ages of 18 to 50, the new Riche, the socially upwardly mobile. That's what I got right now.
Okay. So how did you, what was the affinity for that particular like group of people?
So I'm a woman and African American. So I'm thinking about myself and what I've needed, and then who I could possibly naturally connect with more. The kind of socially upwardly mobile. These are people who can afford attorneys, but they might not understand how to utilize attorneys. So I'm thinking of the market. And then just minorities in general, I care. That's just a community that I've worked with in the past and that I just care about.
Awesome. All right, good job.
Thank you.
Okay, who's next? You can actually do the raise hand thing. I really like that. So raise your hand. Remember, you press participants and then you can raise your hand and then I know who to call on. So I think you press the participants at the bottom of the Zoom screen and then raise your hand and then I'll know like who to call on. So let's see, have someone else share out your idea of your subculture that you're going to be working within. Okay, cool. So I think Sister Anissa first, and then we're going to come to Ada. So you can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What I came up with is the 14 to 45, single, engaged, newlywed, divorced, men and women, American and Canadian Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my primary group. And then secondary group would be the parents and family or close support system of that group.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So first you got the people themselves and then the parents and the support system of that group. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, how did you select that group?
How did I select the group?
Mm-hmm.
That's the population that primarily has been attending my class or have in my classes.
Mm-hmm. So you have that group of people, you're already connected to them. You know that they resonate with it. You know, you've been teaching them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And I think also expanding out, most of them have been in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Some have, but we've also spoken to folks at like big national Muslim conferences and the topic seems to resonate. And I know that they've been, a mixture of cultural groups within the American Muslim population.
Mm-hmm. All right, good. Awesome. Good job. All right, Ada.
Hello, everyone. Hey. My group is women between ages probably between 40 and 60 years old, mm-hmm. That suffer chronic pain, mm-hmm. Like fibromyalgia, migraines, and arthritis, inflammation kind of problems. Mm-hmm. They're seeking a cure and not a pain remedy. Mm. alternative, to the Western view of medicating the pain and not going to the source of the problem. They're in a path of spiritual awakening. They're environmentally conscious. They're looking for a sustainable lifestyle. They want to change perspective on what they're eating. And they're looking for a just world for all.
Yeah, so this was some additional information. Were you going to add something else too?
Well, I was just gonna say where I came to this, who is my audience is really my journey. And where I am today is like pretty much I describe myself. People that are kind of like in what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, this is really interesting because when you first started talking about the project, I guess on whatever day that was, Saturday. Saturday. The thought of the physical suffering actually didn't even pop in my head, right? Like I was thinking a whole different type of suffering. And so like, I love the fact that like you have it focused on this particular group of people. So you can see how like you can have a subject, right? You can have a subject, a topic, but if we don't have exactly who that topic is focused on, it can be really wide and people can take it whatever kind of way, right? People can take whatever kind of way, which doesn't lend itself always to ultimate goals of where you're trying to lead people. So the more you can be specific in the beginning, you pull your people in, then you can pull them where you want them to go. You have it work for you. So good job, baby. All right, so we're going to take the last one, which will be Lenice, Sister Lenice.
Okay, I'm saying that I want to reach mostly African American people, those who have been exposed or who have heard or had some knowledge of the Nation of Islam, those that most likely are between 30 to 70 years of age. Also thinking about their children, grandchildren, and just those that are interested in history per se of the nation.
Awesome. So I can see definitely why that connects, because you talked about your topic and what it is that you're writing about. So that's a natural fit, right? It's a natural fit. Okay. So good job. Good job. Okay. So I'm going to take it a step further, and you might not like me right now, right? So we've already gone from culture, and then we went into subculture, and I'm going to actually push you right now to narrow it down to one person, one person. And so what this is like your reader avatar, right? Your reader avatar. So when we're thinking about your reader avatar, it is a representation of your target audience. It is like a real person. They have a name, they have a job or not, they have a gender, they have a family or not, they have ideas, they have people they follow, all of these different things, right? They become a person for you. They become an avatar for you. And when you have this avatar, you can be like, okay, well, dang, I already know I've been teaching this class, to people who are 14 all the way to whatever. So why would I say I'm going to have an avatar for this? It's an additional way for you to really write to one person. Because when you're writing your book, all of the books that you all are writing are not like academic speak, right? These are books that you want people to be able to pick up and actually resonate with. So if you can get in your mind like, oh, I'm writing to John, or I'm writing to James, right? Like I'm writing to James with this specific set of needs, right? This specific set of ideals or such, then again, it gets your mind working on being focused on being relatable, being honest, being authentic, all of those types of things. Now, again, it doesn't mean that nobody outside of like a Janet, doesn't pick up the book because you're writing towards James, right? But this is another way to kind of train your brain, especially in the beginning. It's like push-ups. It's warm up for your actual writing so that you don't get all out there and be stuck with writer's block. Like the more you can focus in and be narrow, the easier the book is going to be able to be written, the easier it is for you to write. When you try to like keep it super broad, it just gets too much. So the next step for today, some of you all will actually find that you may be your own avatar. Like, because a lot of our books are coming from our own experience. Like Ada mentioned this, right? She was like, really, like, this is kind of like me. Like, this is my journey. So many times you will find with the types of book projects that we're working on, that it's your experience that birthed the book idea in the first place. So it's, you come through something. And so that is a similar thing to what your avatar is going to be. So here's another, so here we have Juanita, 34 years old. She wants to launch a new business. She loves BET, Black Enterprise. She went to HBCU. She reads Oprah's magazine. She loves Marie Folio, maybe before now, but she loves Marie Folio. She has trouble having a baby, and she's thinking about making a career change, right? So these are just some of the things that this Juanita is dealing with, right? And so if I get in my head Juanita, then I can go figure out, how do I get in front of Juanita? How do I find Juanita? And that's what we're going to come to in a little bit. But right now, I want you to actually do a little bit of thinking about this. And I know it's hard. I know it's super hard, but I want you to kind of do a little bit of thinking. And if you were writing to just one person, who would that one person be? Give them a name, give them an age, give them a gender, give them some defining characteristics. Not just like, oh, they live in such and such city or whatever, but like some characteristics, like what you would call like soft characteristics, right, around them, not just the hard demographics. All right. So that's what I want you all to do. Tahira, you have a question? I think so.
No, I'm good.
Oh,
Thank
okay. Okay. Yes. So
I feel like I had a question. I don't mean to cut you off.
uh-huh.
But you said, you mentioned avatar, and I was just going to ask you, can you be your own avatar? Because in my personal journey, I am actually writing a letter to that little girl, because so do you see what I mean? Can I be my own avatar?
Yes, yes. So you
Oh,
can be your own avatar. You at such and such age or whatever. Like, it can be you, right? It can be you. And a lot of people, that is the case, that you are your avatar at some point in your life, right? And so that's easy because you can write to what you know you needed at that particular time, right? You can solve the problem of what you needed at that time. So we're going to give you a couple of minutes. I want you all to go ahead and start writing down, like on a blank sheet of paper, like your avatar. Describe your avatar and give them a name. All of that. It's one person. It's not a group anymore right now. Okay, it's one person. One person. I know this one's kind of hard, so push yourself. Push yourself. And when you're done, just type in done. And you may not get it all right now. This is going to be part of your homework, but I want you to start to think about it right now. All right, we're gonna do about 1 more minute. You'll have time to do it in your homework, but we're gonna do about 1 more minute. Thirty more seconds. All right. So let's have a couple of people who share. I guess if you haven't shared yet, I would like for you to share today. I want you to start working up the muscles of sharing, sharing about your project, talking about it. Like it does something to you. I don't know why, I don't understand it, but it does something to your brain and helps you to start to bring the other things into your project. So for those people who haven't been able to share yet, okay, Tahira, so go ahead. Tahira in UAE, that one. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, so this was so hard. I couldn't pinpoint, because when you let us just like brainstorm, it was easier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to turn my camera. I got my camera. When I was brainstorming, it was easier because I was like, okay, it could be a male or a female. And I was thinking of the age, but then when I had to pinpoint one person, it was hard for me to decide if I would want this book to be for a young person who is just starting out to find out about, or, love or wanting to get married, or if I wanted to be for someone who maybe has been married before and it didn't work out. Or someone who's dating, just to show them, what things to look for. So it's very difficult. So I didn't come up. I couldn't decide on the age, the name, any of that. I couldn't make a final decision. So I just wrote down like a lot of different stuff. So I'm gonna have to pinpoint it.
Yeah, it'll be part of your homework for today. And it is hard. It is very hard to pick like one person that you would be writing this book to, because like when you think about one person, it feels so limiting, it feels so small, it feels so like insignificant. But if you think about it, like that one person represents so many other people, right? And there are going to be aspects that still come in. And one of the things that comes later, and I hope I don't confuse you by saying this right now, but when you think about your avatar, and you think about your target audience, I often say spirit audience. So you may hear me interchange those terms, but I mean like who your spirit gets called to work with. But when you think about that, and then when you have like, okay, like a man that's married and then a woman that's married, right? So later on, like when you're including different case studies, perhaps, or when you're including different stories of what comes up for you, right? Like if you think about this for I'm writing to this person, and then I would include this type of story because it resonates with that person, right? And then I may include another type of story just because I know it may resonate with this person. But in the beginning, like for you to narrow it down to that one specific type of individual, that one, like that person, like this book is for Juanita, this book is for James, like this book is for whatever, you know what I mean? Like that, it just helps you focus. So it is going to be very hard. And I would say, like, don't over stress yourself. So don't do this. Don't over stress yourself about the overtard. Like, oh my God, like don't over stress yourself in the beginning. It's definitely going to contribute to your ultimate success, but don't allow not having your avatar 100% nailed down to like sabotage you or stop you, or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep thinking about it, talk about it. And then from the exercises that are going to come up next, you'll get another side of it too.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yes. Judith.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. This is hard for me too, because it's gonna be me, because it's about I'm taking things, traumatic things I have been through in my life, writing about them, and I'm talking in general how people that have gone through that can deal with it. And so the age for the avatar would vary because with each traumatic thing, it's at different ages.
So with yours type of story, I mean, with what you just said now, maybe think about at what stage of your life would you have wanted this book? So at what stage would it have been, at the beginning? Would it have been in the middle? Like whatever, like when would you have wanted to have something like what it is that you're looking to produce in your hand, giving you some guidance? And use that as your avatar age, like kind of freeze yourself in that moment at that time. Can you think about a time like that for you with what you're talking?
Probably best at like at 18, because a lot of the stuff that happened to me, if I would have had a little bit more of a knowing of maybe how not to do things, maybe I wouldn't have end up going through those things. And then some things weren't really like you couldn't like prevent it, but I think maybe 18. Maybe.
Okay. So pick that time and see how it feels for you, right? So like you can have your name and then, your age, your gender, what you were thinking at that time, the stuff you were going through at that time, right? So you can use that to come up with your avatar, and that can be your initial focus.
Like with defining characteristics, with having a learning disability and a low self-esteem, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely comes in there. Yes.
Okay.
So all of those types of things, you can kind of think about who you were at that time. You can think about all of that and put it down onto the paper. Yep. How you feel?
I'm just really anxious. I'm just like nervous because it's like hard for me to do this, and like I said, I like with my dog. Sometimes when I pick him up and hold him when we're doing this, it's because it helps me calm down.
Yeah. Good. I like the way that you're taking control of what you need in order for you to move forward, right? So that's owning your own stuff. That's owning your own stuff. So that's good. So hold your dog all you want to, whenever you feel like you need.
He just doesn't like the camera, so that's why it's a little hard.
Okay. All right, cool. So so pick a time. If it's that 18-year-old time, then pick that and then like kind of write that out for yourself and let that be your first defining avatar for you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, anybody else want to share about their avatar before we move on?
Yes, I wanted to just share a little and just say that it was kind of difficult. It was really difficult. I didn't know whether to, since I'm my avatar, like, do I write in a third person or, so it was kind of like tricky a little. So I start out with, basically apologizing to that little girl at 8 years old just for not, being more outspoken or standing up for myself at the time, and allowing people to manipulate this young lady at the time, and just explaining how you were special and people saw that you were special, but you didn't see it in yourself. And I'm just apologizing to her. Should we say the name? Is to say her name. Okay, Mina, which is me. People call me Mina, and Mina, she was, Bart, like in the subculture, like my, audience would be. I guess I'm learning as we go, but just um, it's hard. I'm sorry, Zarina. I'm just trying to put all my thoughts together, but basically I'm just really having a conversation with me at 8 years old, or between those early ages before puberty.
So are you writing a children's book?
No, no. I'm starting out just speaking to me, and it's like a evolving thing. It's not a children's book, it's just my story.
So let me break it down and make it even a little bit more clear for you, right? So you have like the content of the book, so the things that are going to be in the content of the book, and then you have like the reader of the book, the actual person that's going to pick it up and read it, right? So those are two different things. So for your target audience and for the avatar, I don't want you to think about like that 8-year-old girl unless the book is for an 8-year-old girl to pick up and read.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes, right. So at the avatar stage, at the target audience, I want you to think about who is going to pick up this book, who is going to read this book, who is that person, right? Who is that person? So that's a little bit different than than who the book is about or like the subject of it. It's the target reader. It's the avatar as far as who. So the avatar for you could be the Amina right now. It could be like you're writing a book to someone who has gone through the experiences that you have gone through right now, and they need an awakening or they need whatever it is that you're bringing forward, right? So the avatar is not going to be the 8-year-old girl, because it's not a children's book. It's not, the reader is not going to be an 8-year-old girl. It's going to be someone who went through the experiences that you went through at 8 years old. Does that make sense?
It does, and I can see it's not nowhere near about children. This is not a children's book. It's an adult book. It's for an audience in my age group. So yeah, that's who I want to reach. Yeah. But I don't. If this gonna throw the whole book off, then I'll just eliminate that part. And
no, hold on. It doesn't throw the whole book off because we're not even on content. Like we're not on content as far as like you writing the letter to your 8-year-old self and stuff. That's totally separate from the reader, like who the reader is. It doesn't throw, the content doesn't throw that off at all.
Okay.
So what your job is right now is to think about, like, first of all, like the group of people that you want to read this book, who you feel like is going to help, and then like narrow it down to like one person that you're writing towards. So if it's still not clear, what I want you to do is like in the Facebook group, in our plan your book, like tag, like you guys are friends now, right? You're all friends now. So you can partner up with somebody else that's in the group and like just talk it out, right? Just kind of talk it out, or go live even. Go live in the group and talk it out, and people can give you feedback on that as well.
Okay, I think I understand a little. I just have to process it all. Yeah, thank you.
You're getting it. You're getting it? Okay,
Good.
good. Good. So I think I saw Katrina, and then we'll move on to the next thing. All right, yes, Katrina.
I felt like I should share because I felt like I was getting called out for being quiet. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Assalamu alaikum, by the way.
Assalam.
So my target audience is teenage girls. So my avatar is Renee. She's 13, so like that early high school student, dealing with the poverty and her current circumstances and having that feeling of anxiety or frustration and depression.
Mm-hmm. So she's a 13-year-old girl. She's early high school. She's feeling like a little depressed. Why is she depressed?
The poverty, the circumstances of her home life, feeling like, is this all there is? And maybe a lack of hope or not seeing, the possibilities for the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Trapped
Okay.
by the circumstances that she's currently in.
Mm-hmm. Does she have family members? Does she have a strong family?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Does she have friends?
Yes, but so this is definitely like me and my own story. And I think this is probably like my favorite day so far because it's gonna be more inspirational. So this is not my fiction book, which you already know about, but this is like the nonfiction. Just an encouraging, like inspirational semi-memoir, in that I'm gonna tell about my past experiences, but also to be more like motivational and inspirational that, hey, yeah, you can come from this background and these certain circumstances, but it doesn't have to be just this. There's hope, there's chances for something different than where you're at right now.
Awesome. Like there's other possibilities out there, other opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So just
good.
to encourage.
Yeah. So I love the fact that you're gonna have to put yourself in that 13-year-old space, right? Now it's a little tricky sometimes when you're thinking about for children's books, because you kind of have two groups. You have the child themselves that you need to make sure it resonates, because the kid, if they don't like it, they're gonna put it down, right? So you got the kid themselves, but then you have the person that's making the buying decision, which is the parent.
Mm-hmm.
The parent is the one that's making the buying decision, or the educator or something who's selecting that book for that child. So you are going to have to take both of those into account when you're thinking about the marketing of the book. We're not really going into that now. Like what we're doing now builds upon, leads into the marketing, but you have to take into account like what the parent has going on in their mind that's going to make them want to pick up that book for their child as well. So you kind of want to write an avatar for your reader, and then you want to write an avatar for the parent of that reader too. Yeah. Okay. All right, good. So okay, so I want to go over one last thing for today, and then we're gonna wrap it up for today. So okay, so remember we started with the culture, and then we went to the subculture, and then we painfully went to the avatar. And now with that avatar, I want you to think about the headache or the problem that avatar is having, and then how your book is the aspirin for that avatar, right? So the pain that your avatar is having, the headache that your avatar is having, and then how your book is the solve, how it is the aspirin for their headache. So let me explain further. So everyone that is doing something in life has something that they're searching for, right? So remember, if I go back to my example of the accountant, that business guy who was working with small business owners, and he's an accountant. So what was the problem of his target audience, his avatar? The problem was that they are making money, but they were losing money. They couldn't find all the money. They're like, why am I bringing all this money in, but like our bottom line doesn't look like it reflects it, right? So they have that problem. Then they're like, oh, well, I need to figure out like how to keep more of our money. Maybe I don't have an accountant right now, so I don't really even know. Maybe I'm afraid to even check our books, so I can kind of go through what the headache is for my reader. What is their headache? And then my book is uniquely positioned to be the aspirin for their headache, right? The aspirin for their headache. So if you think about your avatar, right? And so if I go back to Juanita or James or whatever, and I think about what is the problem that they are facing? What is the problem that they are facing? And a lot of our books are presenting a solution, right? They're presenting a solution. They're bringing up a subject centered around an issue, right? An issue that is prevalent. And then our book is addressing that particular issue. So what I want you all to think about for your book is like the fact that you are an aspirin, like you are a solve, you are a solution, right? You are a solution. So I want you to think about what is the problem, the headache that your book addresses. What is the problem, the headache that your book addresses? This is going to be a part of your homework for today. So I'm not going to break it down right now. We're not going to stop right now, rather, for you to think about this headache. But I want you to consider, like, how are you an aspirin? How are you the Tylenol for somebody else's headache? How does your book address a social ailment, a problem that is being had by your avatar? Does this make sense? Let me see if this is making sense. It's making sense? Okay, good. Good. All right. So I got one more thing that I want to go over, and that part is going to be in the homework, okay? Now, once we have this avatar, right, you have your spirit audience, you have your subculture of people. What's the next logical step? The next logical step is for you to get in front of them. And you need to, in order for you to get in front of them, you have to get to know them, right? You have to get to know them. So if I know that, okay, I am looking for Juanita, like, where does Juanita hang out? What organizations is she a part of? What conferences does she go to? What books does she read? You know what I mean? So when I'm very clear on who Juanita is, who my avatar is, then I'm very clear on I can find them, right? I can find her and I can put myself in front of her and like find, that connection, right? So for you to think about your avatar, your subculture, you want to think about the organizations that your avatar is a part of. You want to think about the social media groups that your avatar is a part of. Like I have a friend who is a horsewoman, right? I love horses, but this woman, is a real horsewoman. She has horses. She has ridden professionally, all that kind of stuff, right? And so, like me, my little hobby self, I would see some of her posts and I was like, dang, they got whole groups talking about these things about the horses. So there are subcultures, right? There are a group of other horsewomen that are out there and they meet in their groups and talk about their things that they're going through and this and this. So you want to be able to find your subculture groups. You want to find them on social media. You want to find them on what do you call those things, like message boards and all those kind of things. Like you want to be able to find those groups so that you can, one, be able to ask questions of those groups. So you can ask questions, you can get feedback from them. And two, you need to become the anthropologist, if you will. So you want to go into those groups and look around, like do your investigations, see what people are posting about. Is anybody talking about the problem that I identify, the problem? Anybody talking about the headache that I identified? Is anybody providing an aspirin already? How are they positioning their aspirin? You know what I mean? So you want to go in there and you want to do some research. You want to become like a stalker for Juanita. You want to be like a stoop. You want to go in and get some information, about your audience. So the other part of this is to think about who that person follows. Who are the influencers that person follows, right? Who are the influencers that have their finger on Juanita, right? Like she's always tuned in to so-and-so because they like that person, right? So you can create a list later on of all the influencers. So then you know how to reach Juanita. So everything we're doing now, it really helps you to, one, use the appropriate language and writing, for your book. So that's the content side. And then two, when it comes to the marketing side and the promotion side later, you know exactly who you're marketing to. So it's 10 times, 20 times, 30 times easier for you to market to a specific audience than thinking we're just going to market to everybody. You have a limited time. None of us have limited budgets or unlimited budgets for marketing. So we have to be smart and we have to be strategic, right? We have to be smart and we have to be strategic. So what I want for you all to do when you're thinking about your target audience and your avatar today is I want you to go and find them. Okay, I want you to go and find them. So you're going to become a snoop. You're going to become a stalker. You're going to go on social media. You know, you're going to find groups. You're going to join groups. So you can join a group, right? And the more you know about who your avatar is, you can find different groups that you think they would be interested in. You can find them, join them, and just snoop around, like read stuff first. Later on, you'll begin to comment and it will begin to be an organic way for you to build up your own platform. But right now, your job is to become like the anthropologist, is to become the anthropologist in your group of target audience, your group of avatar, and go and listen to them, read what they're posting, figure out like what it is that you're thinking about. Is it being discussed? If it's not, like, are you the holy grail for them? Like, is it, you know, they really want what you have, but nobody's doing it right now. You know what I mean? So you want to come at this from that perspective of research, right? Like doing some research, doing some time to get intimate knowledge about your target audience. And the more intimately you know them, the easier it is to find them. The easier it is to find the largest concentration of your target audience, right? So that's going to be a part of your job today, right? So we have the things that we went over. And then the last part is that you're going to become an anthropologist, you're going to become a snoop, you're going to become a stalker, and you're going to go online. Now, I know some people don't like social media, right? Like some people don't like social media. So social media is one of the best tools for this. I'm just going to say hands down. So even if you don't like it, I will almost challenge you just for the forum of this challenge to make an account and just go in and search anyway, because it is just the richest place for you to be able to find these types of groups of people who have already self-selected. Nobody forced them into that group. They self-selected, they searched and became a member of that group, right? So it is an absolute game changer for you. It's a great place for you to be able to do your research, right? Your research. Now, so social media is definitely one of the places. You can also look up blogs. So you can find blogs of influencers and people that you know are going to reach, magazines, you know, those types of things are all right places to be able to understand your avatar better, to be able to know exactly what their dreams are, what their pains are, what their hopes are, what their aspirations are, and then see how they want to be entertained even, you know what I mean? And then see like how your stuff may fit into what it is that's going there. So, all right, so we're gonna pause there for today and I'm gonna answer your all's questions and then we're gonna give you the homework. So again, the homework, you'll get an email this evening with the replay and the homework. It also will be up in the units in the group. So in our group, it'll be up in the unit. So you'll see it there as well. And be sure to do the homework, you know, be sure to do the homework. Different people have different ways of doing stuff, but I would tell you, like, if you can just do it fast, like right after the session, then you can not have to think about it. It's not like a weight over you. Oh, I gotta do my homework. Like, no, like if you can set aside some time and do it right then, it'll be easier for you and you won't have that weight. You'll have a sense of accomplishment versus like a weight, you know, over you. All right, so, okay. So Sister Anissa put her avatar, Zahra. She's 71. She's 21 years old, young Muslim woman who grew up in the United States, wants a healthy marriage. She knows too many friends whose marriages didn't end well. They ended in children experiencing the good and bad of joint custody. Zahra wants to learn knowledge and skills for a healthy Muslim marriage. Awesome. So 21, so she probably is, she just graduated from college or she's in her last year, you know, of college at 21. I know I was in my last year. No, I think I had just graduated. Yeah. Okay, Amina, What are the advantages and disadvantages of making my book an anthology versus interviewing a number of participants and writing the book myself? That's a personal question that depends on what you want to do. Like, one is in your voice and your interpretation of their response, and the other one is all in their voice and they have to write it. So do you have a group of people that are going to write the book themselves? Like, what's the incentive for them writing it? Why do they care about being in the book? Why do they care about putting the time into writing that essay? For some folks, just to become a published author is good enough for them, right? Just to say, like, I got my message down there, I got it out, like that is enough for them, right? So you may be able to use that as an incentive for them to write the contribution. So you want to be able to think about, how am I going to position it so that they want to write their chapter? Because that's a task for them, right? Like, that's work for them.
So, Zarina.
Yes.
So, but does it matter in terms of how you're able to position yourself after the book? So if it's an anthology, it's harder for you to position yourself as a quote unquote expert, right? Not that I would be an expert, as opposed to you doing the research yourself and writing the book, right? Or does it not matter? Because essentially, if other people are writing essays, you're just an editor. That's all you are, right?
Yeah. But what's Oprah?
What's Oprah?
Yeah. I mean, like, what is she? All she does is interview people, right? Like,
Right.
but she builds her platform off of being the reporter. So there's clout also in coming to be a reporter. So if other people write their stuff, like, you as the person that is the glue that's pulling those all together, you have the responsibility as the editor also to make sure that those are entries that you want in your volume, in your book, right? And so then you're also going to write your introduction. You're also going to write your conclusion. Like, you're the glue that ties it all together. So there's value in becoming the reporter. There's value in the journalism, the journalistic standpoint as well. Like, think about all the talk show hosts, right? The spotlight is on the guest, right? Because they're the expert. But the talk show host becomes a figure by virtue of the guest that they were bringing on, right? So you still are going to be seen as an authority figure based off of that. And I would even say, for many people, this is something that in my business world, we talk about a lot. Like, when you don't have a platform at all, right? Like, say you're starting a business and something that's totally new to you. You don't have any testimonials. You don't have any kind of clout or anything. Becoming a reporter or a journalist is one of the fastest ways to build up your name. And you can say, hey, I interviewed, if I know that you interviewed 25 people talking about so-and-so, I'm gonna be like, oh, she got some information. You know what I mean? Like, just by the virtue that you sat down and talked to those people, So yeah, it still works. Yeah. Now, one other thing, as far as like the writing yourself, right? So if you interview them and write it yourself, then you're doing all the writing. So you just want to make sure that, you have that capacity, right? And if you have them write it, then you're doing the editing. So you want to make sure that your guidelines, all that kind of stuff is clear so that you get quality submissions. So you get quality submissions. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Any other questions?
Tahira, I can't see how to do it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I wanted to ask you, this is so powerful. So bringing it down to an avatar, it changes my whole idea of what I want to do. So would that necessarily might change the form that I want to present my work in?
Possibly. Let's talk it out real quick. Like, what happened there?
Okay, so I want to do a presentation. I want to do like a memoir on happy Islamic families. I see that in the world, everybody just assumes our families are dysfunctional, they're domination, the sisters are subordinate. I want to fly into that and dispel it because I know it's not true. But a book, I'm thinking now maybe just, it may not be one story. I just know maybe the form would change if now we're talking about a person. I wanted to attract as many people as possible who are like right now interested in Islam because the world is changing. I wanted to have it be huge, have the audience be larger, thinking if taking it down to one person, which is a wonderful concept, maybe changes my whole strategy about doing a book. Maybe it might be a calendar, just pictures of people happy with some notations about how it works. I'm just wondering now if the form is, how do you know the form is correct? I guess that's the question.
Okay, so first let's go over like the memoir. So a memoir is like it's a personal story. So a memoir would be like your personal story, maybe a snapshot of your life or whatever. It doesn't have to be the full life, right? It's a snapshot of your life, but it's a personal, you telling your own story. And what you talked about as far as like highlighting different couples or such, that could be either
That's
the
different.
anthology or yeah, it would be a different,
Okay.
it's a different format, right?
Okay.
It could be an
All right.
anthology or like the couples themselves write up their own love story, you know, something like that. Or either you interview them, like Amina's talking about, you interview them and then you write up their story or their, like what you get. Something just came to me for a second, but it was like 18 lessons learned from 18 Muslim couples around the world or something. So let's say you had, you know, different couples and then each couple gave a lesson learned from their life. And so it's like the lessons that they learn or the example or whatever. And then either you can have them write it or you write it. That's just totally an example, but it doesn't, the one person for the avatar doesn't mean that it doesn't reach other people. It just means that like that's allowing you to kind of focus in on who who you're thinking about, right? It's like your initial target audience. That's really the best way I should say it. It's like your initial target audience, and then it ripples out from there. Yeah. And one of the
excellent.
I was gonna say one of the beautiful things about the book itself versus the calendars, like, you know, I do calendars, but the calendars they have a short time frame.
Right.
It's like, it's a short time frame that you have to sell that thing. You guys sell it and then like or else it's done, right? And a book is an asset that once you put it out there, you can continue to, you know, share that year after year after year after year. Yes, you can do another volume, you know, whatever, but it doesn't have a timestamp on it. There's no time.
I thought about that. One quick question, Zarina, I don't want to dominate, but since I've been talking to you, the whole form has changed. So I have a book called I Hear Symphony. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it. It's a group of love letters, songs, even letters African-American people have written to each other. Their mothers have written letters to their babies. There are soldiers who wrote letters to their brides, but they're all Black. And I was thinking that would be the form, or maybe not even have couple. Because I think people want to make sure we're not, I know people don't want to be preached to. So what would be the type of volume of work if I did just go on getting someone, say, ask you to find out what your dad wrote to your mom, or a snapshot of them together. If I put those together, what would that kind of book be called?
That would be a collection, a compilation.
An anthology?
Yep, it's a anthology compilation book.
It wouldn't be a memoir then.
No, it's not a memoir. So a memoir and an autobiography are all like from your life.
Personal,
your personal life. The autobiography is like your whole life, and the memoir is like a snapshot of a particular thing that was going on. So that would be either, you know, anthology or a compilation of different love letters and stuff.
Great, good. Ada just said you love. I love it. I have this book on my cocktail paper table. People are always trying to take it. I said, just buy the book. But it's beautiful that our men have some amazing, you know, our music, you know. I might put a music album in there, you know, but actually showing people that we know how to love each other. Our lives are not just dragging from the pillar to the post, crying and falling down, and that's all that you see. But I didn't know how to actually call it the compilation of it. So it'd be more like an anthology.
So do you think that like if you're thinking about the people who are going to come in, do you think they already have love letters and it's going to be a copy of the love letters? Okay, so you're going to put out a call, you know, for submission of love letters, you know,
theirs, their grandmothers. I mean, it would call to the nation, send in your beautiful stuff, even pictures. Maybe when you were at your first, I got a 50th wedding anniversary invitation, and it was a picture of the gentleman and the lady at their 16th birthday party. And it was so cute because they still look the same. Stuff like that just gives you good feelings. And I would put something like that in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's still all the same. Like keep it, you know, stay with that as to what you're thinking. You may refine your idea as you keep going. But the avatar is all centered around it's centered around a specific person that you see picking it up and like getting something, you know, out of it. And it doesn't mean that nobody else is going to read it. It's just that it's just helping you kind of focus in. It's like push-ups. Yeah, it's push-ups for the book.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, everybody. So you're gonna become an anthropologist. You're gonna become a snoop. You're gonna become a stalker for your target audience. And those of you who maybe are not quite clear yet on which group you want to work with or who your avatar is, doing the research, going out there, looking at different magazines and seeing people who are there, that also helps you like come up with who your group of people are, like who you want to love on, who are your people, right? Who are your people? Who are your people? So, all right. So tomorrow we'll be here same time tomorrow. So tomorrow is Tuesday. So Tuesday we'll be here. That'll be day 4, right? Yeah. Wednesday will be day 5, and Thursday we'll take a break. So Thursday is no day. Just catch up on the things that you've done before. And then on Friday, we're going to have our final day. And I'm not 100% sure yet, but I may have to push the hour back just 1 hour on Friday. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I will let you all know about that. So I may have to push it back just 1 hour, meaning I say back, but people say that I say it backwards or whatever. So I don't know. Meaning we meet at 4, it might meet at 5. We might meet at 5 p.m. on Friday. I will let you all know. But on Friday, that's the way it may go. So do your homework, post up on your page, become an anthropologist, do a snoop, do all that stuff so you can have the little tiny wins that will lead up to the big win of this entire week, right? The week is broken up into small bite-sized chunks and they're all adding upon each other. So when you do this, it leads to this, it leads to this. And then that allows you to have a big win at the end, like where you become the architect of this book, what your book is actually going to look like, right? No confusion. We got it straight. Love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.